Hey, welcome to SC Custom Designs, where we are finally at the stage, part 2, where we are doing, let me see if I can get down in here, through dovetails, whereby one piece is angled, a 10-degree angle, and the other piece is basically straight up and down like this. You can see there's no angle in it. I am using, as you can see, hopefully the LEIGH D4R PRO, a dovetail jig out of Canada. It's simply the best in the world. Prove me wrong. It's amazing. So as I was going through the manual, which I have over there, it's an amazing manual. It said, go to this link if you want to do this. So essentially, I wanted to do angled dovetails. And so you go to their website, and there you go, how to build angled through dovetails on your LEIGH jig. There's 3 different styles we have here. We have this one, that's the one I'm doing now. As you can see, this is the angled piece that I showed you here. It's just in a different sort of configuration lengthwise, and there's a reason for it. Then we have the next level. They want you to do this, where it may be that both are angled. It's an angled or hopper joint. Ends of both adjoining boards are angled, okay? So they want you to start here because apparently it's a little easier. However, I want to throw in a huge disclaimer for you, and that is I had to break away from the instructions that tell you to do the pins first, not the tails first. What does that mean? So if we look at this piece here, this contains the tails, all right? These are the pins that go into the tails. Okay, so traditionally, well, you know, method 1, when you're first learning to use this unit, they have you make a simple box, which is quite impressive, even so, and they want you to go ahead and follow the simple methodology. That methodology is making your pins, your tails first, okay? This is the tail configuration over here. This is the pen. You make your tails first, and then you make your pins, and you make your pins to adjust to fit the tails, if that makes sense. So you can start off with them too wide, for example, and then make them narrower, and that's exactly what I did. So I had to leave the instructions behind a little bit. I basically made the tails first. When I made the pins first, I was all upside down. It just didn't work no matter what I was doing. I'll just say it's me. I just didn't get the instructions. That's nothing new for me, to not get some instructions. So I thought, what the heck, it's a new day, it's like a week later, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the way they showed me how to do the simple through, making the tails first. Well, guess what, it worked. Go figure. It took me a few pieces of pine and trial and error that I've got here, there, and yonder. That's kind of like why this guy just kept shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. That is the sides. So this was, the sides were like about here. So at any rate, it's called Living and Learning, and if you're new to my channel, you'll learn or know that I like to do show you what it's like in the wood shop for real. Probably what's going on with you guys out there and your gals. So you're in your shop and you're learning, but you don't want to video that. I'm the opposite. I like to learn and don't worry about perfection right away, and then get the perfection along the way. So so part 1 was all about making the pins first, and I abandoned that. So part 1, this is part 2, where there's a little bit of a change up, and I am making, we're going to call this lessons learned. That's probably what I'll do. I'll just call it lessons learned. Now the next time I go through, and I already cut up some stock over there, it's on the wood bench, and I got it clamped up, because pine, if you don't clamp it up overnight, it's going to become boat. Not really, but I mean, it's just going to, depending on But most pine tends to do that, especially when you start cutting it up and not delivered as purchased from the lumber store. So I hope I didn't confuse you. I feel a little confused. So just know that this is lessons learned. And sometimes you have to take the instructions and do that with them respectfully. I'm sure those things are right, because LEIGH is amazing with their manuals, okay? But why it is I was able to abandon it and do it my way and it worked is beyond me. But I'm happy. So at any rate, this is what we got. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the last piece for you. This will be the other side, which is going to go here. Okay, and what I want to show you is what I do. I'm getting simpler and simpler with what I do, and you know, you just got to know what you're dealing with when you do this stuff. You want to know the inside and the outside of a board. I already know what that is. Okay, but what does no mean? You did something bad. No means do not route in that area. The way I have my pins configured is the bit is going to go through here, not through here, through here, through here, through here, not through here, and through here. And also notice that I actually, for the first time, I went away from the norm and I spaced my tails out a little bit different. I kind of like it. 2 fat ones here and two smaller ones there. Hopefully you can see that, right? And then you got your end ones. They highly recommend you actually have your something for the meat to go into. So at any rate, pretty cool. And that's one of the really awesome things about, I'm not a salesman for LEIGH D4R Pro. It sells itself, my friends. All these pens are configurable. You can make any configuration you want on this thing. Really, it's all in your head, you know, what you'd like to have. So I'm a pretty irregular guy. I go off the chart and off the grid, and so I'll probably be doing that. But this isn't too radical. It still looks pretty uniform. All right, let's go ahead and get on with the video. Again, lessons learned. We're going to go ahead and cut out the pins. Now, something new for me, I have a little more confidence than I did when I first started using the jig. Let me set my camera free. If you're watching on a TV, apologize for the gyrating. So there you go. Notice I didn't write no again, because I know that I'm not going to route through this area here. Okay, so just know there's a correct orientation inside that you're actually going to router. So let's set this guy free. I'm going to get a little bit close because I just don't want to drop the board. And let's come over here and cross our fingers. Hopefully we'll be able to get this guy in there without too much fuss. Let's get my very simple camera stand, which looks like this. I know, guys, I'm really high-tech. Forgive me for that. All right. I want to welcome our new subscribers. I think we got 2 new subscribers today on a Monday, which is unusual. Just know, I didn't even welcome you to my shop. This is SE Custom Designs, and we do a video a week, at least, and upload that. So just know that we just like to learn along the journey. So you got to think about how you're taking your pins out. I want to make sure I don't do it wrong, or that's going to be a problem. All right. So I had already fit the one end in, and they only really go in one way. So just know that. I'm going to just go ahead and put this guy in. You really don't want your pins to be too tight, because when humidity comes along, you're going to have some problems. They're probably going to crack on you. So my first pins, they weren't really that stiff, so everything else is fine. And just know you can make adjustments along the way, so there's no worries there, my friends. All right, so let's go ahead and put these guys in. That's the thing when you're doing things live, you get live surprises. And this is my very first attempt at doing angled dovetails. And it is proving to be a little bit of a challenge to get them in. And what I'm going to do, if this doesn't go right in again, I'm going to just pause the video so that we can just get it in. I'm going to go ahead and do that.